Howdy folks, Zapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you current events and future events. I really, I'm not the best title maker of all times, but let me explain to you what I'm doing. So as you can see here on the table, there's a bunch of games on the table. All right, some of them I'm going to get rid of, and some of them I'm keeping. So what I have done, so the stuff that I want to get rid of, I'm probably going to, well, I've actually sent a list to Noble Knight so I can get some in-store credit so I can just buy some games from them. Magic Realm is one of the ones. It's kind of one of my grail games. It's something that I've had my eye on for a long time. Pretty expensive game. So I'm like, you know what? A lot of these games I'm not playing, haven't played in a long time. Why not get rid of them? Even if, Noble Knight decides, hey, we're only going to give you $5 for the game or whatever, hey, that's fine. But I figured if anybody that watches this channel is interested in any of these games that are on the table, then hey, we could make a deal amongst ourselves. But regardless, I'm getting rid of these games. So either one of you gets them, or Noble Knight or somebody else gets them. So they're basically, these games got to go. So let's start over here. So all of these games, well, actually with the exception of one, which is The World in Flames, I'm the only one that's ever owned them. I'm a non-smoker. I don't have cats. I have recently, within the last year, gotten a dog. Small dog, short-haired dog. So all of these games should be free of pet hair as well. But if you have a dog allergy and you're very highly sensitive, that's something to keep into consideration. So anyway, let's go on. Let's go over the games. So this is Runebound 3rd edition. I don't like the 3rd edition. I have some of the 2nd edition stuff. I like the 2nd edition way better. So I think I have, this is going to be tough one-handed. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it out. So hold on. Hold what you got, people. So this is Runebound 3rd edition, and I do have one expansion, which is the Caught in a Web expansion. So I think I played Runebound 3rd edition maybe once or twice. Didn't really like it. Didn't like the token mechanic. I thought it was, whatever. Here's Martin Wallace's Steam. Rails to Riches. I think I've played this game one time. Here we have GMT's Blackbeard, Golden Age of Piracy. I think I have set this game up twice. Never really played it. Let me see. I don't know. Some of these games I have clip and some are not. Oh man, this is going to be a pain in the butt. Whatever. I don't know. I think, I'm kind of glad I opened this up because now I can see that the cards are kind of, it doesn't look like, I have not clipped it. All the counters are punched. Now that I see there's a counter tray in here, if one of you guys wants the game, then I will include the counter tray. But if nobody wants it and that ends up going to Noble Knight, I'm going to get rid of the counter tray and keep it for myself. But all the counters have been punched, and they have not been clipped. I do have some games that are clipped. All right, we'll organize that later. Guess I should have prepared myself for this a little bit better. Tide of Iron. It's just the base game. Yeah, Tide of Iron. So all the components, I haven't inventoried all the components, but it looks to be complete. I think I've played this once, maybe twice. There is a small ding in the corner, but other than that, that is it. Well, actually, yeah, the corners are kind of beat up a little bit. You know, it's moved a couple times, so obviously moving tends to take its toll on games. Here we have Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game. This is the first edition. And there is, so it's the base game, and then it has an additional X-Wing and an additional TIE Fighter in it. So I think, trying to open a box one-handed is just not, I tried to pre-stage everything so it would be easy, and now that I didn't think about the opening the box thing. So there's your base game stuff, and then you have an additional TIE Fighter and an additional X-Wing. All the cards and all the tokens are there. I don't think I've ever played this game. You know, sometimes you buy games with the thinking, hey man, this sounds really cool, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to play it all the time or whatever. Things just don't work out. D-Day at Omaha Beach. Alright, so here's the thing with D-Day at Omaha Beach. So everything is there. So if you look, so it is clipped. This is the first game that I ever clipped, and this is before I had the nice Oregon Laminations counter clipper. So yeah, it's not clipped perfectly. You know, there's going to be some that are better than others. So that's the issue with that. Of course, it's partially clipped, so you can see that there are some counters that are not clipped at all, and then I've got stuff still in the sprue as well. So yep, D-Day at Omaha Beach. So just keep in mind that it is clipped, and it has not been clipped with a corner clipper. World in Flames. This is, the rule book says 3rd edition. I bought this off of eBay years ago. You can see that the box has seen better days. I have no idea what's what in here because I've never actually set it up. I've never inventoried it. I bought it off of eBay years ago, and then that's it. So as you can see, the rule book does say 3rd edition. There could be writing and all that kind of stuff in the rule book. Who knows? This is basically, I would treat this as a parts copy, if anything. So there you go, World in Flames. ASL starter kit number 1. This is when I thought, hey, ASL sounds cool, let me get into that. So I bought the starter kit, right? Because that's kind of the way to go. And it didn't go very far. So all the counters should be here. I think I've set it up and played it one time. So you can see these are the unclipped ones, and then I have, this is probably the start scenario, which I would say is, it's one of these two. So it's the pieces for that. So these are the ones that are clipped. It's all here. ASL starter kit 1 partially clipped. And by the way, these counters that have been clipped with a counter clipper. So they're much better than D-Day at Omaha Beach. Let's see here. What else do we have? We've got Dust Tactics. This is an older game, completely out of print, no support for it anymore, but if you're a Dust person, then there's some more stuff. There are a couple of expansions in here. Alright, had to answer a phone call. So this is the base game of Dust Tactics. It has Crack Shots, 13 Fox, and the Boss. And then it has, I believe, the Laser Grenadiers and the Axis Guerrillas. Those are the expansions. Everything else is the base game. So everything's in there. Been played once or twice. It was I thought it was a pretty interesting system, but it just by the time I got into it, it was kind of starting to go out of print, and you know, there you go, there you have it. We got Smash Up. I bought this not too long ago, so it's all there. Card game, what have you. So if you don't know what it is, look it up if you're interested. But Smash Up. We've got Star Wars, the card game. I believe it's just the base game. Been played. I don't think that's ever been played. So there you go. Then we have Space Core. This is new in shrink. Never been opened. So there you have it. That's brand new copy. So there you have it. There's my yard sale. Like I say, you know, if you're interested, go ahead and leave a comment, and then, or what I'll do is I'll put a link to my BGG, Board Game Geek, and then you can send me a geek mail. Or if you're not on BGG, just leave a comment in the comment section and say, hey, I'm interested, and then we'll work something out. So, but again, don't feel bad. I'm going to sell this stuff to Noble Knight if nobody's interested, but I figured I'd give you guys the first crack at it. Now, what have I been doing and what am I going to do? So I have been playing Arkham Horror, the card game, which, you know, it's an LCG. It's one of those money pits that Fantasy Flight has. So, but it's interesting. It's kind of, I like to think of it. So I've played the base game stuff, and then I bought the Dunwich. I bought all the Dunwich cycle stuff, so I'm playing through that. Honestly, to me, it feels kind of like a choose your own adventure, where it's a little bit more in depth, right? So you get to make more decisions. There's different endings depending on how well things go during your play of that particular scenario. There's usually 2, 3, sometimes even 4 different endings that you can have based on what happens. So interesting game. I really like it. I'm an Arkham Horror fan, so if you can see right over there, let me make sure I'm pointing at the right spot. So this is Arkham Horror 2nd edition. I have everything for it. Really like it. It's a humongous table hog. I bet you if I set up the whole game, everything, it'd probably take up most of this table. But I like Arkham Horror. I'm not a humongous giant fan of what's his name? I can't even think of the author. What's it? Lovecraft. Whew. It's called getting old, guys. So I've read some of Lovecraft stuff. It's sometimes it's kind of hard to read just because it's old, right? It's written in a different style back in the 30s and the 40s, so different style. But I've read some of his stories, but I really like the idea of Arkham Horror, you know, with monsters and stuff like that. So big fan of that. So obviously I like the Arkham Horror 2nd edition. Never bought the 3rd edition. I did buy Eldritch Horror. Did not like it. Got rid of it. But I do like the card game. And then I know that there's a bunch of you that have kind of been hinting at A Time for Trumpets. So, sorry, had to cough. Hopefully, if there's any cough on the video, hopefully I can edit it out. But if you heard some of me coughing, then I apologize for it. But anyway, so a couple of you have talked about Time for Trumpets, or mentioned it. So Chris, I'm reading the rules. I don't know if I'm going to go all out and play the big scenario. So I set the maps up, and the maps basically covered probably about down to here. The maps are about 4x6 when you have them all on the table at one time. So it's going to take up 3/4 of this table if I do the big scenario. I'm a little gun shy after World at War. You know, it took a long time to set that game up. It took up this whole table plus, and it ended in failure. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably do one of the introductory scenarios with A Time for Trumpets first, get the feel for the game, and then I'll see if I want to do the big campaign after that. But yeah, World at War kind of got me a little gun shy. But I mean, I'm already reading the rules for Time for Trumpets, and it's, you know, it's easier. They're written way better. I would say that GMT writes really good rules, but surprise, World at War is published by GMT. However, I don't think that GMT had a lot of influence in a World at War. I think, and I was saying it's Bruce Harper, I believe. He's the designer. Yeah, it's Bruce Harper. I was saying Bruce Campbell in my previous video. Whatever, it doesn't matter, right? I think Bruce Harper had too much control over the rules and all that. It reminds me of another game, and that would be Phil Eklund, High Frontier. The idea of the game is amazing. Rules are terribly written. And all of Eklund's games, I've owned a couple of his games and gotten rid of them all because I just can't get through the rules. They're so badly written. And I think that World at War suffers from the same thing. But anyway, so I digress. Time for Trumpets. Rules are much easier to digest. In fact, probably that's the scenario book. Rules are over there. So the rules, like so far I'm like 10 or 15 pages in, and basically it's just explaining, you know, the unit counters and everything, which if you've got any time, as long as you're not a complete novice at war games, you're going to understand most of the first 10 pages are just like, you know, hey, this number means this. This is how the units are broken down by color and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically explaining those kind of things. So it shouldn't be too much of a hard system to get into. But that's what's going on. I'm doing reading the big rules, but you know, I'm filling the free time in with smaller games like Arkham Horror and other small games that I got too. So there you have it, folks. That's what I'm up to right now. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.